And a happy Monday to you. What's going on? It is Styles coming to you live from my basement where I've done every single one of these happy hour lives. But hey, you know what? It's a great time. So to sit back, kick back, and hang out with your favorite rock stars, film stars, and much more. Today we got Grant from the band Through Fire joining me. We'll bring him on in just a second. You got a chance to go pour a drink. By all means, go ahead and do so if you're in the point of the day to which you can do that. Do so. And coming up next for us, we've got Dinosaur Pileup joining me Thursday at noon Central. That is because, well, they're going to be joining us live from England. So noon Central on Thursday is the next edition of Happy Hour Live. Grant from Through Fire joining me right now. And there he is.
How's it going?
Oh, good. Got a little bit of echo. I can hear me now.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. You got to hear you, bro.
What's up to Mr. Larry Watkins, who says I'm here too?
What's up, Larry? Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
How's that echo?
Man, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome, bro. Things are great. Things are good. Weather's awesome. Got lots of time on our hands these days to take care of any business necessary.
That is very true. Where are you guys at in terms of the state of Nebraska with reopening everything?
Actually, everything's reopened with some guidelines, but I think everything's pretty much reopened. Yeah, at least restaurants and bars and things. So
okay,
and the mall and
here the state we're in phase 3 at this point. And that can you get your headphones?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
One second.
I only asked that. I apologize. I can hear me reverbing. All right. Well, Grant does that. Again, he's joining us here from the band Through Fire. You got questions? Go ahead and put them in the comments section below here on Happy Hour Live. Great to have you here and be a part of this. And we're just here to have a good time, hang out, and learn about what's going on with everybody during COVID-19, what's coming up next for them, and so much more. Again, if you got a question, go ahead and put it down in the comments section. Grant, go ahead and get in his headphones all situated over there. I love Larry here. Not Illinois. This state sucks. I understand that, Larry. You know, we're not completely open just yet. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. And there we have Grant now.
Yeah. Let me see my little notes.
All right. Cool deal, man. So yeah, you know, how have you been handling everything there in the world with being shut down and being at home? What have you been up to?
I've been up to trying to kind of get on top of my game, do some running, practice my voice, do vocal exercises every day, and try to build, some stamina and, just stay in shape, but really progress. Actually doing more work now than I normally did. So just like, kicking it in gear, doing a lot of practice, playing some guitar, trying to get good at other instruments, trying to write some songs, that kind of stuff. Just some musician things to keep me busy.
All right. Well, you say you're practicing and trying to keep yourself in shape and ready to go for when you guys get back out on the road. What does that look like for you? Are you doing vocal warm-ups, exercises? What you doing?
Well, I've got this app. It's called Sing Pro. It's a really cool app. It costs $150, but it has all these custom exercises, and I do one of those a day, sometimes two. I've actually done up to three, but it's a minimum of one a day I try to do. And you go through like 8 or 9 exercises where you do like different sounds through a scale, a 1.5 octave scale, and you'll hit a octave repeat scale, and just exercises is almost like taking your voice to the gym. And then after that, I sing through some of the songs and things like that, and just trying to get better. And next time we hit the stage, rather than missing a beat, be a step ahead.
And speaking of being back on the stage, we're all looking forward to the time that we get shows back out in the world. You guys can tour. Right now, you are set to hit the road in July. Is it still looking like that tour is going to happen, or is it going to get rescheduled?
It's on the books right now. And so as far as I know, it's going through.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do have you right now set for July 12th at the Forge in Joliet. That show moved from Chicago originally. So again, if you have tickets for the Chicago show on July 12th, it's at the Forge in Joliet. If you don't have tickets, they are available. Doors at 6, show at 6:45. Tickets $25. July 12th to go see Through Fire with Fozzy. Who is the lead singer. The lead singer of the band is Chris Jericho. Le Champion from AEW. I got to bring this up real quick because I don't know if you follow Chris in his wrestling lifestyle or what he does in terms of wrestling, but he's getting into a storyline now with Mike Tyson.
I did not catch that. I did not catch that. I don't know how I missed it. I'm friends with him on Instagram, so I guess I've
Yeah,
been kind of slacking.
he's now in a storyline with Mike Tyson, so I'm intrigued to see where this is going to end up going, and if those two end up having a wrestling match, a boxing match, it'll be intriguing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's probably hope for Chris's sake it's a wrestling match.
If not, your tour could be cut very short.
Yeah, that would be awesome either way, though. That's cool. I love Mike Tyson, so that's great.
He's gotten in some shape lately. We've heard stories about him potentially getting, offers to do fights again, right?
That's right. Yeah, he was offered a fight from Bare Knuckle Championship, $20 million, if I'm not mistaken, to take a fight. I don't know who would be for it, but yeah, that's some good money. And I saw him working out, and he just looks so strong and so fast. It was like watching videos on YouTube when he was 18, just the real quick, just
Mm-hmm.
lightning. I was like, wow, are you kidding me? That dude's that quick still. So yeah.
Yeah, it's insane to think about where he's at now at his age. I mean, kudos to him, his age, and his style of fight, and the fact that he can still do it. So, I mean, if people want to pay the money to see him, by all means, let's do it. But let's hope it's not like a 30-second fight, no matter what it is, and we're all paying $80 for the pay-per-view.
For sure. And you know what's I think the scariest part about him is you think about, when he started to fall off is because of the drugs and the lifestyle, the women, all that stuff. And he just didn't seem to really care. But now he's had time to reflect, on all the things that he did wrong and how he would have done things different and look at fighting a little bit differently. And now he just seems so focused in all that he's doing. I imagine it's going to be pretty sweet if he gets in the ring.
I hope he does. I truly, truly hope he does. Again, sitting here and hanging out with Grant from the band Through Fire. Drop your comments and questions in the comments section. We'll be able to ask those throughout the entire time that we're hanging out here. You mentioned that you've been sitting at home practicing guitar and even recording some stuff. Where is that stand, and what have you been up to in terms of that?
Well, that for me has been like I've just been jumping in, just really trying to learn the program and figure out how to engineer some songs and put some of my ideas together and make them a respectable demo. And so far, it's been a lot of fun. I haven't really finished a whole entire song, even actually mixed down or anything. I've started several and done a lot of things, and just been having some fun with it and getting used to it. Because you never know when a solo album might need to take place. So, or maybe actually contribute to some of the songwriting. For those of you that don't know, our band, Justin, he's the main guy, writes everything, and I just do all the singing. And so I'd like to get more involved in that. And lately he's been encouraging me to write more. I kind of set that aside when we started working together because he's such a brilliant writer, so the pressure was off of me, and I just had to, be a great singer, and still working on doing that. So, but yeah, just feeling more writing lately, and ideas and music's constantly flowing through me. So it's like, if I'm not doing it, I'm really just neglecting it. So I should take advantage of the fact that the ideas are flowing and try to see what I can make out of it.
That's so cool, man. Well, I look forward to seeing what comes of everything that you've done so far and potentially making it to a new Through Fire record. If not, like you said, maybe to like some solo stuff. Is the stuff you're writing right now, is it mostly like acoustic based because of the situation of you being at home, or is there drums in it, or what are we looking at?
Well, it kind of got sparked from the fact that I got these electric drums for Christmas. And so once I started playing those and picking it up quicker than I expected, I was like, wow, now I really have to get a computer. I need to start recording some ideas. And so I definitely have done some drums. I've learned how to program them without actually playing them. I've got a MIDI controller so I can kind of tap them away and then go back and quantize them and stuff like that. So really, I'm just having a lot of fun. I've actually made some hip hop beats, a couple of them, and kind of done some freestyle rap stuff over that. And just having fun with it, like I said, and then I've actually even written a little country idea recently. So, but there's a few rock songs for sure, and they did start in the acoustic world. And I'm waiting till I get my hands on an electric guitar before I can start having a lot more fun and writing some rock stuff.
Okay, I'm intrigued to see what a country song with your voice would sound like. So,
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, we're gonna have to show you sometime, man.
Dude, I can't wait, man. Especially, God, we got to get you guys back on the road. But speaking of being back on the road, what do you think the shows are going to look like once we get back? Because I mean, everyone has restrictions per state as to what they can and can't do. Like you said, Nebraska with the way they're doing things in terms of guidelines for restaurants and what have you. Same thing here in the state of Illinois. What is your vision of what a concert's going to look like when we get back? Because we would always just be shoulder to shoulder at a show.
Yeah, man. You know what I think? That's what it's going to be like. I think people are going to act just like they do right now with the protest. Very little regard for any kind of social distance, and just get up as close as they can and rock out. And I mean, I feel like it'd be hard to police that, to tell you the truth. Like, what I mean, you're going to put X's everywhere and make people stand on them. I don't know how that would work. So I
No,
imagine people are ready to get back to shows, and by the time we do it, you'll probably be allowed to get shoulder to shoulder. So
yeah.
whoever wants to get there, we'll be ready for you.
Yeah, and the way the music that you guys play, there's going to be a mosh pit. Good luck trying to stop that.
Yeah,
Well, man,
I've seen a mosh pit during "Breathe" actually before, our ballad, which was awesome. I never will forget that.
What city was that in?
Oh geez, that part. I
No,
honestly,
gotcha.
I think it was. I can't remember. I just remember the mosh pit, and I was just blown away.
Well, that is cool. I was gonna say the last time I saw you was the Forge and Joliet with the Like a Storm tour, and
Yeah.
I don't think there was a pit for that song, so it definitely wasn't there.
No, not that day. They do get down at the Forge, though. That's for
they
sure.
do. And again, July 12th, that's the show that you guys are going to be there. That has been moved. That's the move date from the Chicago dates. The current single out right now is Listen to Your Heart, man. And if I remember correctly, the video dropped the same day that Marie Fredrickson passed. Obviously not planned that way. What was your thoughts when it dropped like hours later than we find out she passed?
Well, it was like, for us, it felt like the next morning, because we didn't find out until then. I was asleep, and Justin came running in the hotel room, and he told me about it. It was shocking. It was very shocking. It felt kind of like Twilight Zone-esque, just like, whoa, that's a little eerie, like, just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and the song has done great for you guys as well. Huge stream numbers and research numbers across the board. That's got to feel good, though, not only just as a tribute to the band, but for you guys as just to show what you can do with the song.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, totally. We've done all female vocals so far for our covers, which is cool, I feel like. So we might have to do a guy cover for the next one. But
I'm glad you bring that up, because I didn't even think about that, about all the covers you guys have done. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, Lights, Listen to Your Heart, and we did Jar of Hearts.
Right. And that
Christina Perry.
Yep, on the expanded edition of the last record. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What would be one cover that you would like to see the band do?
Right now, I mean, shoot, I don't know, man. So many songs. I love so many songs. It's hard to say, to tell you the truth. Yeah, too many.
We got a question here from Laura that says, what did you think about Sumerian Records' YouTube video dedicated to frontline workers using Superhero? She says that it was really moving.
Oh, I loved it. It was awesome. And I'm glad you thought it was moving. That's super cool. Yeah, I felt like it was very fitting, and just a cool video, and they deserve a tribute. It was awesome.
Absolutely do. My wife is a surgical tech at a local hospital here in town, and hearing the stories, and she has yet to, thankfully, to come in contact with anybody with COVID, but hearing the stories and just seeing her concern of when she comes home every single day. Props to everybody who works that front line and does what they do, because without them, I mean, there's just no saving the world at this point.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's got to be scary for them too lately, with all the exposure.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
Just all the craziness.
She told me about one person she knew, not at this particular hospital she works at, but another. Like, this person would come home, immediately take a shower, and quarantine herself away from the family for hours on end until she would repopulate with the family because of that concern initially when everything had first happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot more intense at first. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. So for you, I'm just looking here through my notes. We have so much to talk about, and I appreciate you joining us. Let's bring up Through Fire Coffee.
Through Fire Coffee, fired up coffee. Wake up and get fired up. Yeah, we're excited about that. It's a good coffee. I've been drinking it every day, actually. So
Talk to me about talk to me about deciding to go with coffee, because like Sammy Hagar has liquor. There's all these other artists who do certain things. You guys chose the coffee route. So what made you go that route?
Well, I don't drink anymore. So one of the few things that I do drink that make me feel a little different is coffee. And Justin and I both love coffee on the road. He's always looking for a coffee shop every city, every time we play, instead of going and finding, I don't know, a weed store or something. He goes for a coffee shop. So, yeah, we just love coffee, man, to tell you the truth. And it's a good product for us to get our hands in, something that we actually can be passionate about.
Well, that is cool. Rocked Up Coffee Company. It's called Fired Up Coffee from Through Fire. It's out now, and they got many versions available. You see it right here on the screen for you guys. Go check it out. How long has it been out now?
About 2 weeks, I think.
Oh wow, so it's still fresh out there in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's been the fan reaction to it so far? Have you seen any?
Just excitement and trying to get their hands on it. I haven't heard a lot about the taste other than it's good. So
Okay. I look forward to hearing much more about people getting their hands on it. I've actually just went ahead and put an order in for it myself. So I didn't. I was
nice.
like, I saw it. I'm like, as I'm prepping for this, I'm like, oh, I forgot about this. Justin called me on Sunday, yesterday, and was just like, and I was like, oh yeah, you got coffee out now. Crap.
Yeah, yeah. My fiance saw the link go up the day we put up, and she went ahead and ordered a few, and was like, "I do that. I could have got you some for free." I was like, "Hey, man, that's just how we do it." She was excited.
Yeah, Justin's that type of guy that will give you the shirt off his back too. My wife, the one time we saw you guys play, it was in Peoria. She bought a hoodie, and I purposely made sure he saw that she was wearing it. He like basically dragged her to the merch booth and was like trying to give her money back to her. And she's like, "No, this is what we do. We support you guys."
Yeah,
So,
yeah, he would do that. That's
talk to me
awesome.
about how you met Justin and became the singer through Fire.
Oh, cool, man. Good question. It was a long time ago. We actually met. I'd say probably around 2005, 2006. I was working at Gold's Gym at the time, doing fitness consultant sales type of thing, and he and his old singer came walking in, and I had totally missed him. I had already seen the band perform once before, and I was a fan. I had my eye out on him. And one of the guys I worked with knew that I liked him, and he did the tour with them, and they didn't sign up. And he said, "Hey, man, that was your band you like?" And I was like, "Who?" He goes, "Emphatic." I'm like, "Oh, cool, man. Did they sign up?" And he goes, "No." I'm like, "Well, did you give them a guest membership?" And he said, "No." I was like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Oh, just because we were doing that for everybody at the time." He was just a hardcore salesman, and they wouldn't buy, so he was like, "Screw them." But yeah, so Justin and they were signed to Universal at the time, and so they were trying to get in shape and everything. I hit him up on MySpace,
Oh
and
man, I didn't know that.
I was actually the 1,000th friend of the band on MySpace, and they sent me a, "Hey, you're our 1,000th friend on here." And so I messaged him back, and I was like, "Yo, my boss told me you came in looking for a membership, and he didn't sign you up. Come back, and I'll get you a 3-month free membership." So I got a phone call from Justin, and he was like, "Hey, I heard you messaged my band and saying you can hook us up." And I was like, "Yeah, come on down." So he came down. I got him a free membership for a trial, 3 months, the longest we could give. And I tried to help him work out, put a little muscle on him. And we
It's a
just,
funny little guy.
yeah. He ended up getting kind of big there a few years ago. But yeah, when we first met, he was rails. So, um, yeah, just he hooked me up with like a 10 years concert for the membership, and we sort of stayed in touch. Just for me, basically being a fan and bugging him and saying, "Yo, how's it out on the road?" and things like that. And when I started a band, I didn't actually start it, but I joined one, and I hit him up and asked him if he could get us on a show and stuff like that, and he worked that out. So we started playing some shows together, and then when they signed to Atlantic Records, um, there were some changes in the members and things like that, and they put out an album, and I was going to start a project with the ex-members of Emphatic, and he was going to kind of help out, and that turned into my old band, The Wreckage. that Justin was the manager and a producer and writer and stuff like that for. And we did some cool stuff with that. So we were trying to make those two bands work. And at the album release party for my band, The Wreckage, his singer came to the show and got in a fight and broke his larynx. And so that's when I started.
Okay.
That's when I started filling in for his band rather than working with him on a different project and trying to make both succeed. It turned into we had to just join forces and eventually became Through Fire.
That is really cool. So you said you talked about Gold's Gyms there, Gold's Gym there. What other jobs did you have before taking this full time for yourself?
I was a bar manager. Was one of the jobs I was doing before I started touring and things like that. And still sneak in and get some bartending shifts and things when I need to. But yeah, just pretty much worked in the service industry. I did a lot of waiting table jobs and stuff like that. Bonefish Grill, Outback Steakhouse. Just trying to do whatever I could to make some money and be able to pursue music.
And one of the things I learned long ago was no matter where you're at, bar, restaurant, make sure you tip the person that's serving you at least 20%.
For sure. Yeah.
It's not even just so much nice, but you never know what that person's life is like. And that right there, that 20% could be make or break for their rents, an electric bill, or whatever the case is. Be courteous to them. If you got the ability to make it a 20% tip instead of, I've seen some people like, oh, just $2 on a $100 bill. I'm like, are you really kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
$100. You can do better.
Yeah. Even if it's not 20%, 2 on 100, you really missed it. You don't know what's going on. So
precisely. Do you have any horror stories from working the bars?
Oh, I mean, kind of.
You can tell at least.
Not really. I mean, it's just the bar scene. There's some fights. There's some things like that weren't great. Had to fire people for stealing. That's probably one of the horror stories. Only one person, unfortunately. I didn't like having to do that. That wasn't cool. But I don't know, man. Just the bar scene.
I can totally understand that one. What have you been doing? You talk about, doing all the stuff that you have for the time that you've been down with COVID-19. You haven't been down with COVID-19, but since this whole thing has happened, have you been streaming any shows, watching any movies?
Yeah, watched a few shows, more than I used to. Yeah, I was kind of not very into the TV, but yeah, I've watched some shows. Me and my fiance, we watch. Let's see, there's that. I'm not good with the names is the problem too. So we've been watching a lot of Cops lately.
Which is
on Pluto
off the TV now, actually.
Has it?
Yeah, they what is it? Paramount Network didn't say anything publicly, but they pulled it off the schedule, and A&E has pulled live PD off the schedule for the time being.
Oh wow!
Because of everything.
Well, you know what? You know what I noticed is on Pluto where we were watching it, is like a lot of the newer episodes. It's like they're going out of their way to be Mr. Nice Guy a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of dumb, especially with what's going on right now. It just seemed a little cheesy, but we've been watching it anyway and noticing all that.
Well, and Pluto has isn't it? Pluto has like a dedicated Cops network.
They do. Yeah. They actually have, it seems like whatever channel you pick, it's just a all day marathon of it. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you need some
all the cops you can get.
Yeah, all the cops you can get. I guess it's better than Springer, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you drinking there? What do you got there?
Okay, this is my sparkling water. I do a lot of that since I don't drink alcohol anymore.
Okay.
And that's I don't know if you can see that. That's the peach ginger, all right, which I believe kind of makes me cannibalist, right? A little bit cannibal. Yeah, it's just a delightful little soft drink. Kind of takes the place of beer or something that would have vodka in it back in the day.
Okay. So when you quit drinking, that's a great decision to make. A lot of people have been doing that, especially in the music industry. Was it difficult at first for you to do that and go day to day without having a drink, knowing that it's so readily available in your line of work?
The first time I tried to get sober, it was almost impossible. Like I did it a few years before this latest run of now 2.5 years. But my first time getting sober for 6 weeks, I had to start journaling. I started reading. I forced myself to start reading and all kinds of things. Like it was very difficult because I'd been doing it for years daily, and yeah, it was just a challenge. And I tried to replace that with getting back into the gym and stuff like that too, and I did, and so that helped a lot. But this last time, I got started with a fast, and I had 10 days under my belt, and just kept it going, and I feel pretty free from it. But yeah, when I hit the road for the first time, I never seen so many places giving us free booze. Like that was never the case when I needed to get it, had to keep my little cheap vodka and pour it in my water bottle and stuff on the other tours. But as soon as I quit drinking, it's like, oh, you guys want some free alcohol? We got like bottles and coolers full, and like, yeah, sure.
Thanks. Now you're here in my life.
Right.
Where were you a year ago when I was
Exactly.
drinking?
Exactly. So yeah, there was a few tempting moments out there. I remember when we met with our radio guy from the label Jacobaw out in at the yeah, Jacobaw.
Oh, yeah.
We were playing the Whiskey in LA, in Hollywood, and this cute female came up and was complimenting the band and wanted to buy him and I a shot of Jaeger. And under normal circumstances, up until that was my new sobriety at the time, that was perfect. That was a dream come true. Yes, we will take a shot of Jaeger. But that was probably one of the most tempting times. I felt like just being with him, because we like to every time we hung out, it was just party time. Right. So it was my first time hanging out with him where I wasn't drinking. So I felt a little lame, I guess, but yeah.
You gotta do what's good for you, man. And it's good to see that you said what now, 2.5 years about or so?
2.5 years, yeah.
That is fantastic, man. Congratulations on that. That is
Thank you.
Really cool.
After the first year, the second year went by way quicker, and this one's already just breezing. So
that's awesome. And I mean, yeah, like you said, just getting that first start is the biggest thing. The first days, the first weeks, the first months, and like you said, the first year.
Oh yeah, and not to get all crazy about it, but the benefits are insane. Like for me, just from coming from drinking, like just financially, it's insane. Physically, it's insane. It was amazing the things, I didn't have money for before that I started having money for after the alcohol was out of the picture.
Yeah, I drank, but I did quit for a while, and my wife joined me. And I remember we'd go out and we're like, we just saved $50 on this meal by not having any alcohol. Like this is insane.
Right.
So,
and then the bar that you go to after it,
Yeah, right. Yeah. That is so cool, man. That's so cool. Very cool. Have you been discovering any music while you've been having this downtime?
Yeah, I actually have, recently started discovering some old school country. Like I first went through a phase where when this all started happening, and I was jamming a lot of Korn. And I became a bigger fan of Korn than I ever was. Like, are
you talking early Korn, first 4 albums?
Early, first album actually was my main focus, the self-titled one.
Okay.
But then I was kind of diving all over the place. But definitely older stuff, because if you noticed, their new stuff is just as awesome. It's like they have never taken a step backwards. They are always awesome, and I've loved that. I love how they were innovative. Their story, them as guys, I just like them. So I got really into them. But then just recently, then I started listening to, thanks to my mom and my grandpa, on a few phone calls asking me if I listened to Willie Nelson and things like that. Because my mom apparently was a huge Willie fan when she was pregnant with me. So she's like, do you ever listen to Willie? I just wonder, because I used to listen to him all the time when I was pregnant with you. And so I was like, well, that kind of got me checking him out more. And I got into Waylon Jennings, and I watched a little documentary on him and him and Willie, and realized that they kind of started the whole outlaw country. Mm-hmm. And he was the first platinum selling artist out of Nashville. And I was like, wow, this is like another one of those like Nirvana, Korn, Waylon Jennings, and Willie. That they were that for country. So I was like, cool. So I got into that. Yeah, man, I'm just checking out. I'm all over the place. I don't limit myself to any one genre or anything like that. I just like good songs and great art and stuff like that. So
That's definitely a way to go.
performers.
I am a huge fan of jazz, so like some people will ask me like, "Well, what do you listen to when you go home?" I'm like, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, give me Glenn Miller, all that stuff. I will sit down and listen to that on my way home from work because I'm burnt out on everything else.
Yeah, that's relaxing. Yeah.
Definitely, indeed, man.
Heck yeah.
For you, when you write, what is an inspiration for you now when you write musically? Do you listen to other artists for inspiration, or what do you find as that inspiration, whether it be writing a note or writing a lyric?
When it comes to that, for me, it's just I feel like I already have like a style inside of me, which is actually what kind of makes me want to bring it out so I can show the world because I feel like I have my own everything I write, and my fiance notices it. She's like, I can tell that's you. So I have like my own little style,
Hmm.
and it's definitely, even though I sometimes write country or rap or something like that, uh, I still musically am very kind of rock with my chord progressions and stuff, and a lot of things start out acoustic guitar, and so I don't know. I think I'm actually very influenced by Justin, being around him and his being a writer and sharing his ideas with me over all these years and working with him. It's funny, when I play, I always used to tell him before I could even play guitar that the stuff he played is what I hear in my head, kind of stuff. Like if I could play, I'd be playing that kind of stuff. And I actually feel like I do kind of play. Like he's way better than me, but I definitely have like picked up on his style and already kind of had it in me anyway. So I feel like I'm sort of influenced by our own band, and I know that's weird, but that's kind of what it is.
Did you play music yourself before joining this group, or were you mostly just a singer at heart?
I was definitely just a singer. I played a little bit of piano and guitar. I was always trying to play, but I wasn't much of a player. I never practiced. I didn't have the instrument to practice. So anytime I got around one, I always picked up someone else's. I'm that annoying guy that wants to play your guitar and get on your piano and stuff like that. But uh, now I've got my own. So, and I've played every one of my drummer's kits throughout every band I've ever jammed with. That's just a tradition.
I look forward to maybe a day where we can see a Through Fire headlining set, and like Solly Erno of Godsmack, we get you behind the drum kit for just like a little solo drum session on your own.
That would be amazing. I'd love that.
I
And
think that would be
actually, Justin can play a little drums too. So can Kyle. So we actually do like a little circle and trade everything.
there you go. We'll do the Metallica thing where they all bring out like a mini drum set, or there's like one piece of a drum set and you all just start going off in the middle of it. I think that would be fantastic to watch.
I think so. That's a great idea.
That is very, very cool, man. You mentioned piano, you mentioned guitar, you got the electric drum set for Christmas. So playing that, how has that worked into you as a musician?
I felt like um, right after playing that for about a week or so, maybe just a couple times actually, the first song I put in, I was immediately hearing and seeing the drum way like more clearly, and just picking it up and noticing it. Where before I used to be like all melody, like guitar melody, vocal melody, wouldn't really pay attention much to like what the drums were doing. Besides, I would feel the beat.
Mhm.
But now then I started noticing like the little nuances and stuff right away. So it brought it out for me in a really cool, fresh way for a lot of music. So it made listening to stuff like Corn and all this other stuff that I listened to from basically like the 90s, early 2000s, and some older music, just made it a whole cooler experience. Definitely started like my ear. It was just like my ear immediately like picked up on it more.
That is cool. Again, looking forward to what comes of the demos you've made so far. We got one question here coming in, going back to Waylon and all that. Are you a fan of Shooter Jennings and Lucas Nelson, their kids?
That's actually kind of what my mom was listening to, I think, and talking about and asking me if I was a fan of. And I've seen Willie's son. I thought it was maybe two of his sons uh, playing some guitar. It must have been an interview or something. And those dudes were super talented. I loved what I heard. And Shooter Jennings, I haven't listened to him as far as anything that I can think of, but I remember him from the documentary, and I thought his name was awesome, and he seemed like a cool dude. So yeah, and I was pretty sure I heard that he did music, so I need to check that out. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to the question there. I'm gonna bring something up, and you don't have to answer it, and I'm not trying to like derail you here, but recently you had someone masquerading and pretending to be you online,
Uh,
out to fans. When you were made aware of that, man, what was your first reaction?
Sort of annoyed. I was like, are you kidding me, or what? And and at the same time, it was kind of funny because it's like, wow, it took this long that finally someone's tried to do that. So yeah, I don't know. It was just a little like, I got to get this fixed. You know, I was thinking of all the people that are probably uh, falling for it, and it was irritating.
Totally understood there, but not justifying their actions. You had to feel like you reached a certain level that someone would actually
Yeah,
do that, though.
yeah, a little bit, and then in that way, it was sort of funny and flattering, and kind of like, cool, I guess, for that matter. But yeah, I don't know.
You're just like, yeah, no, I'm done. But it's been fixed now, correct?
I really don't know. I mean, we did the reporting on it, and I haven't heard anything since. So
All right, well, let's hope. And again, if you're getting somebody messaging you and asking for money, claiming he's Grant, it's not Grant.
never.
It's just so crazy that people would actually fall for that. I've seen so many stories like that across many artists and many platforms. I want to go back to your musical writings here real quick because you mentioned about a hip hop beat you wrote. So talk
Mm,
me through that.
okay. Well, the first one I did, I was actually playing with loops. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's
Yes.
basically like short little segments of like the drum beat, and you can put them together and build a beat. And I did that with another instrument. I picked a melody, I think it was, and just kind of put these loops together. And it was pretty simple, but it was an awesome hip hop beat with some like 808s and stuff like that. And then I just started rapping on it. And
Wait. So there is a recording of you rapping now.
there actually is. There actually is. It's very top secret right now. This is totally not finished. It's on my laptop. I haven't even mixed it down or anything. I just actually took off my headphones and put my phone next to the headphones and recorded it. And I sent it to Justin and a couple guys in the band just to give them a laugh and things, but show them I was messing around. But actually, it was not that bad. It's pretty good, in my opinion. So,
It could end up on the next Through Fire record. You just don't know it yet.
yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but you never know.
Either that or it could be the interlude during one of the songs and Justin
It would make a great interlude. And
would,
it's funny you say that because I'm for interludes. I'm a big fan of that kind of thing. I like the flow of those old school albums where you have like some random voicemail in between songs and like the dudes yelling in the studio or, whatever. Just that kind of thing. It doesn't seem like anyone does that anymore. It's just like song, 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 song. And we're basically moving away from albums. So now it's just going to be song, song.
right.
But I just miss that kind of the skits and the interludes and the hidden tracks and stuff.
The old days of hidden tracks, and when you discovered them, you were like,
Yeah,
this is here.
there's another song. Wow.
Green Day's Dookie is probably the most classic of me discovering a hidden track.
Oh yeah, okay. I immediately think of the Significant Other Limp Bizkit album.
Yep.
Had all the interludes and hidden track type of vibe.
Were you a big Limp Bizkit fan back in the day?
They kind of brought me out of my hip hop phase. I was where I bridged from like Eminem and Dr. Dre to like starting to move back into rock music, which was it started with, I guess, Limp Bizkit, really. I had friends that were really pushing rock on me and lots of metal, heavy metal, death metal, screaming, hardly any singing. And at the time, it wasn't my thing, but it definitely grew on me and eventually became my favorite thing in my early 20s there for a while. But it was, just like Limp Bizkit and then Seether, Breaking Benjamin, Slipknot, all that kind of, that's when around age 15 or so, that album, that Significant Other album was my first rock album. I think I listened to front to back and loved every song.
So you were more of a hip hop
Well,
fan coming
since
up?
I started real young, I was a big Guns N' Roses fan, like my
Okay.
first favorite band ever. And I remember the day it hit me when I was like 6 or 7 that I was like, I was looking at a Garth Brooks album in the, I think it was Appetite. It was either Appetite or one of the Guns N' Roses album. And I was like, today's the day that this is now my favorite, you know. And I started moving into country, and I did that for years. And then I got into alternative rock, and then I got into the hip hop, and then back into rock again, and then into heavy metal, and then just all over the place.
That is a wide range to go. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, man, I was in seasons, and I kind of flow through them throughout the year. Like I'll go through a
Okay.
month where I'm listening to R&B, then I go through a month where it's like old school hip hop, and then go through a month or two of just like all the rock, you know. So
What season are you in right now?
right now it's been some of the old country,
Okay.
and actually no, I take that back. That was a couple weeks ago. I moved into a Linkin Park phase.
Okay.
Been
Now,
listening to
early
some.
Lincoln, it was a early Lincoln Park or late Lincoln Park because there is a difference between the two.
There is a big difference, and it's both. It's really kind of both, because I was a big fan of the first two albums and kind of just, you know, wasn't huge into the rest of it. So I've kind of let a few of those songs that I dismissed earlier, gave them a second chance and appreciate them more. And like you know, singing wise, I've been doing all those exercises. So besides singing the exercises and the Through Fire songs, I was hanging out with my buddy Dave in his truck, and we were jamming. I showed him the Gray Days, the new Gray Days song,
Hmm.
and I think Soul Song, the video, and that's got some sky high vocals for the chorus that are, you know, just kind of Chester what he did, and I started singing along with that. So then it made me want to sing with Linkin Park as part of like my workout kind of thing, and that was a lot of fun. So that got me into the Linkin Park phase.
What do you think about the new Grey Days stuff? I mean, those are the vocals are old tapes from the original Grey Days records, but with new music attached to it.
Oh, it's incredible. I'm a huge fan. I listened to the actual Gray Days tracks, and those are cool. It's a cool experience. I felt like, you know, you're sitting there listening to a mid 90s Chester, basically at his regional local level, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, and the music isn't as great as what you know usually from like Linkin Park and what we're
Right.
hearing with the remixes and of course, but it was cool. And you know, the guys from Korn and some other guys are the ones that are working on that new Grade A stuff. I don't know if you knew that, but
Yep.
some of the dudes from Korn are helping with it, and I think it sounds fantastic. I love
Yeah.
what they did with it.
I really look forward to when the record drops. I know it's coming out here in a few weeks because they had to push it back thanks to COVID-19. We had Sean from Grey Days actually on here, Happy Hour Live, a couple weeks back, and just hearing his stories of Chester and working through this record. And it took them 2.5 years to get this done, which is crazy to think because of all the process. He actually put out, I think he said like $100,000 of his own money to start the project until
Wow.
they had a label attached to it.
Mm.
So
Well,
looking
that's a
forward.
well spent 100,000. We appreciate it out here. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I love it very much, and I mean, Sickness has gone top 5 at this point, and looking forward to it. So, I guess we can start wrapping up here, man. I appreciate your time. We've been on here for like 45 minutes, so I appreciate every minute you've given me here so far
It's been
today.
a lot of fun, dude. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Dude, absolutely, man. I appreciate you again talking with us. What do you? I want to go back to real quick because you talked about there for a brief second about how we're transitioning out of albums and into singles and songs. As a musician, somebody who writes, how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel two ways about it. I hate it because I love albums, and all I want to do is have several like albums, just full length albums, and have just like all the favorite artists we've loved for years. I don't, you know, we don't want to shortchange our catalog and just have a couple albums and move to the singles or EPs. But I just actually was talking to Justin yesterday, and I asked him his thoughts on this, and we've talked about it a few times, but I just, you know, wanted to catch him in the current mood and see how he thinks about it. And he mentioned something that I can't help but think is a great idea, that we just, especially for our band, because he writes such great songs, not to be tooting our own horn or anything, but he's the writer, so I can do that. Writes such great songs, it's almost a shame to just put an album full of singles and you only hear 3 or 4 singles. It's not like we're writing B-side filler stuff or anything like that. So for us to do like a 5-song EP would be much smarter, and it would make it seem like we can put more material out and kind of stay fresh and keep people hungry for it, rather than let you burn out on the whole album and then have to wait so long for more. So a shorter, like 3 to 5 song EPs, I wouldn't want to move to just singles, like it almost appears some people are doing. I wouldn't want to do that. That's just way too lame. But it almost calls for that these days, I feel like. And that's one way to keep people interested, but you got to give them something like tangible that's more than just one song, I feel like. And as an artist, I don't want to put out anything less than some kind of package for an album. So if that becomes EPs, great, whatever, we can just keep putting more out. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Do you still want to put out the physical product though?
That's another good question. I was just thinking that, yes, I definitely do. But maybe you don't have to do a CD. Maybe just make the vinyl, and give digital with it, because I mean, I feel like nobody really has a CD player. Cars don't have them, newer anyway.
Yeah.
So if you got to buy a system, you might as well buy a record player and collect vinyl. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I definitely want something physical though. You have to have some artwork because real fans want that. So we have to do that.
You gotta have something at the shows that if somebody wants to buy it immediately and have something in their hand, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
We had a band here a couple months ago. They were called Pushing Veronica. Shout out to those guys, Munching on Kids out from California. And I was like, "Oh, do you guys have a CD?" And they're like, "No, we don't," because it's so funny. We're from California. They ask you, "Are you on Spotify or whatever?" Blah blah blah. We come out to Midwest, and you guys all want CDs.
Right? Yeah, we still collect them. We appreciate them out here. I still buy CDs. I like them, but it's just not very practical. But
no,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, very true. And make sure if you do buy CDs and vinyl still, you all go out there and support your local record stores, locally independent record stores, not just Record Store Day, but record stores every single day, especially now.
That is right. That is right. Absolutely.
I love
Amen to that.
I love going to
I'm so thankful we still have one here. It's a great store. It's awesome. It's like the only one left, but
we got one here in the Bloomington Normal area. We got several. There's one I go to, and I was so happy to find them and just be able to have something I can go into, and new, old, used, and they got cats. It works.
Yeah, we got one. They got new, old, used T-shirts, posters. I think they even have some pipes and things like that. So yeah,
they got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you collected? Have you ever been a collector of things in your lifetime?
I collected basketball cards. Okay. I have a ton of basketball cards, actually, from like 98 to probably 2002 or so. I collected them. And the pinnacle of my collecting basketball cards was my Allen Iverson collection. And I had all these sweet Allen Iverson inserts and cases and things like that. And they got stolen. So now all I have left is all the rest of the cards, the regular cards. Like I spent my whole card collecting career trading all the Kobe's and Jordans for the Iversons to my buddies. And so I got rid of all these cards for all these great cards, and they got stolen. But I still have a ton of cards, and they're really cool. So
I still have a lot too myself. I used to collect cards. I used to collect comics. I still have a ton of comics here at the house. My wife goes, "Can we do something with these eventually?" I'm like,
"No." Yeah, like frame them or
exactly. I've gotten many of them graded at this point, and so they're in the hard cases and stuff like that, kind of like you do with cards as well.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, man. Well, again, Grant, thank you so much, man. Anything you want to wrap up with and say to the fans out there that are watching this or who will watch this?
Yeah. Stay safe out there still. I know it's like you're tired of hearing that. But don't let your guard completely down, because it's still out there, I think. They say it is. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Keep loving music. Keep jamming. We can't wait to see you. Check out our coffee. Check out our Instagram, our website, throughfire.com, throughfiremusic.com. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, upcoming shows and things like that. Make sure you stay in touch. And we cannot wait to see you out there on the road.
Exactly. Stay on the line. Don't pop out yet. We're gonna go ahead and end this, but I'll see you in the backstage area. Thank you again for hanging out. Grant from Through Fire. Hold on. There we go. Got the right side. I gotta remember which side I have to point on the camera. Thanks for checking out Happy Hour Live, people.